Hello everyone, how are you all? Hope everyone is doing good. So, next we are going to learn about theories of intelligence. There are mainly two theories regarding intelligence. So, every approach comes up with its own perception and assumptions. Perception means what? It is the ability to see, hear, or become aware of something through the senses. And assumption is nothing but which we are assuming. So, what we see or what we hear and we become aware through our senses, and which we are assuming, that all they have put together and they made the theories. So the first theory is factor theories of intelligence. In that there are two theories, that is two factor theory or G factor theory. Second one is group factor or multi-factor theory. The second theory is process oriented theories of intelligence, and the third one is Sternberg's triarchaic theory. So what is two factor or G factor theory? So this was developed by Charles Spearman. He is the father of factor analysis. So in the year 1927, Charles Spearman developed this two-factor theory, and it comprises of G and S factor. So what is G? G is nothing but general ability or common ability. S is a group of specific abilities. So that is G factor and S factor. So G factor, it is a universal inborn ability. Greater G is an individual leads to greater success in life. S is nothing but from the environment which we learn. So it is acquired from the environment. For example, G factor, after the years which is there within ourselves, some abilities are there that will leads to the successful, and S factor, that is come through the environment. So this S factor we see in the daily life, that is activity to activity in the same individual, and it has the specific abilities can be represented as S1, S2, S3, etc. So according to this theory, what the total intelligence is the sum of the general factor and the specific abilities. So this can be expressed as A equals, A is nothing but total intelligence, individual's total intelligence, equals G factor, that is G plus S1, S2, S3, like that it goes on. So the difference between G factor versus S factor. G factor, it is universal inborn ability. It is general mental ability. It is constant in one individual. G factor differs from individual to individual, used in every activity of life. And the S factor is, it can be learned and acquired from environment. These are specific abilities. It varies from activity to activity in same individual. Individuals differs in the amount of S ability. So these are the difference between G and S factor. So under that, the second one is group factor or multi-factor theory. So this is coined by L.L. Thurston in the year 1938. But later this theory got rejected. So this considers about the intelligence a combination of numerous separate factors. So instead of viewing intelligence as a single general ability, Thurston's theory focused on 7 primary mental abilities. So usually it has 7 factors. So the first one is verbal factors. As we know, the test involved in the verbal comprehension. Through verbal they can find out, or through verbal the test is conducted. Second one is spatial factor. Spatial factor is nothing but they will show an object and they need to imagine, and later they need to identify or they need to say. Third is the number factor. So which is nothing but ability to do numerical calculations rapidly and accurately. What is the meaning of numerical or numeracy? So it is nothing but the ability to understand and work with the numbers. Okay, that is what the number factor. And fourth is memory factor. Memory factor is nothing but the ability to memorize quickly. For example, some images has been shown and they will just take off the images and later they will ask what were the images shown in the PPT or board, etc. So if the person is identifying or memorizing quickly and explaining quickly, we can say their memory factor is good enough. And the fifth one is the reasoning factor. Reasoning factor is nothing but it is found in masks that require a subject to discover a rule or principle involved in a series or group of letters. And perceptual factor, ability to perceive. So already I said perceive is nothing but, or perception is nothing but the ability to see, hear or become aware of something through the senses. So this has the ability to perceive objects accurately, correctly. Seventh one is the problem solving factor. The word itself says problem solving, which is nothing but if any problems occurs, how the person is going to deal with. So these are the 7 factors of intelligence. The second theory is process oriented theory. So this focus on the development of intellectual process, that how the process change as individual matures. So it focuses on cognitive development rather than intelligence. This theory is given by Jean Piaget and Brunner. So according to Piaget, I already said this has been written or coined by Jean Piaget or Brunner. So according to Piaget, intelligence is an adaptive process. So this Piaget viewed individual development as an evolution of cognitive process such as understanding the laws of nature, principles of grammar and mathematical rules. So he focused on schemas, assimilation and accommodation. So schema is nothing but the representation of a plan or the theory in the form of an outline or a model. So they have some scheme, they have some planning. Then assimilation, which is nothing but the process of taking in and fully understanding information or ideas. And then accommodation. So this was the Piaget's theory. Okay, so generally we can say he focused on the schemas, assimilation and accommodation, and he wanted to understand the laws of nature, principles of grammar and mathematical rules. And according to Brunner's theory, these growing abilities are influenced by the environment, especially the rewards and punishments people receives for particular intellectual skills. So according to him, Brunner argued that any subject can be taught effectively to any child at any stage of development. So for example, it would not be appropriate to teach a 3-year-old complex physics. However, Brunner contended that they could be taught some principles of physics, example force, mass, momentum, friction, etc. So in active form of later repeated in iconic, then symbolic form. So this was given by Brunner. So first what Piaget said is he focused on the grammar, mathematical rules, schemes, assimilation and accommodation. So Brunner, what he said is anybody can learn effectively, or any subjects they can learn effectively. It doesn't matter of any stage of development. For example, they cannot learn completely the term physics and all, but gradually they can learn it. That's what Brunner said. The third theory is Sternberg's triarchaic theory. So especially there are three aspects of intelligence. They are componential, experimental thinking and contextual. Componential is nothing but that typical person will be book smart. Experimental thinking is nothing but they have the ability to create, or they do creative thinking and characterize the person who can separate elements of experience and combine them insightfully. And contextual is nothing but street smart. So one who know how to play the game and can successfully manipulate the environment. So these three aspects of intelligence given by Sternberg's triarchaic theory. Okay, so componential, as we know, book smart. In our class, one person, at least one or two persons will be there, right? Always topper, top ranker. So as it is, as I said, the page number and each and everything they will be knowing. They are called as book smart. Experimental, through the experiments they will learn into one or the other things. So street smart is nothing but they know how to handle, and even with at the same time they are capable of manipulating the things. So there are three types of Sternberg's theory. First is analytical, creative and practical. This is what I said earlier, either types or the aspects, three aspects we can say. Okay, so analytical, which is nothing but compare, evaluate and analyze. Creative is nothing but insight, synthesis, adapting in unique situations. Practical is nothing but dealing with everyday tasks relating to world, and they will be able to solve the problems too. So these are the three types. Characteristics of Stanford Binet test. So especially there are 5 factors of cognitive ability. They are fluid reasoning, knowledge, quantitative reasoning, visual spatial processing, working memory. So it can be involved both verbal and non-verbal responses also being measured. So one by one we will learn. First one is fluid reasoning. What is fluid reasoning? Fluid reasoning is nothing but it is the ability to solve abstract problems in which no prior knowledge is required. Suddenly some problem happened and they are aware of nothing about the situation, but they have the ability to solve the problems. So it is tested with object series matrices, non-verbal fluid reasoning. Okay, and second one is knowledge. So knowledge is nothing but it is defined as someone's accumulated stock of general information that has been committed to long-term memory. So some general information they have and that can turn to long-term memory. So some knowledge we get from the book, but throughout the life we may remember those things, right? That is what long-term memory. So for example, difference between fish and a horse. So third one is quantitative reasoning. It measures a person's numeracy. So numeracy I already said with the numbers. So it can be basic counting, addition, subtraction, etc. So at higher levels, measurement, geometry and word problems are included, and it can be present in both verbal and non-verbal problems. So IQ questions related to mathematics, additions, subtractions, divisions, etc. So these all get involved. Fourth one is visual spatial processing. So it involves the recognition of both patterns and spatial relationships. So the non-verbal portion of this subtest usually includes assembling puzzles and patterns. So some puzzles will be there or some pattern will be there. They need to sort out the problem. So there is a question containing which one of the following is different from others. So A, B, C, D, E, they have given 5 different symbols. They need to identify which is different from others. Fifth one is working memory. So it is defined as multiple process that capture, sort of transform information in a person's short-term memory. So while doing work, some memories will be stored in our mind. So that is what some things which can capture our mind. This is what working memory. So factors influencing intelligence. What are the factors which can influence intelligence? First one is nature. So it depends on genetics and gender that can affect our intelligence. Second is nurture. So this can be due to immediate environment throughout the life. So for example, pre and postnatal diet, family, school environment, socioeconomic status of family, race and or ethnicity, etc. So intelligence factors can be divided into 3, that is biological factors. Biological means physic, chemic, nervous system. Social factors like home, school, language, culture. Psychological factors like intelligence, motivation, emotion, attitude, interest, sentiment, etc. So these are the factors of intelligence. I hope everyone understood. If you have any doubt, you can message or text in the description box, or you can email me. Thank you for watching.